I want to know, we did have somebody, we've got a couple of minutes, Bonnie. We did have somebody who wrote in a question.
Okay.
I'm not entirely sure that I understand the question, but she tells us that she's got two children, one that is autistic, but another one, her non-autistic child, is someone who cannot switch off before bed. The school said that they were going to do a referral. Now, I assume that that's a referral to get her tested. I don't know. But they go on to say that the teacher said she wasn't sure now and that they aren't having assessments in school because of COVID, that she thinks she's just going to leave the situation as it is. And mom thinks that that's a kick in the teeth. So and mom says, yes, that's right. So we've talked about this a lot with you about when they use the excuse for COVID and not doing assessments. What do you want to say to this mom?
California Department of Education compliance complaint.
If they're not in California, because I don't know for this family, if they're not in California, is it the same everywhere? We're just not sure.
Well, it is not necessarily the same everywhere, because CDE has been doing a great job of working with the districts and figuring out these assessment issues. In your own state,
they're in the UK. That's even harder.
Okay, well, let's just answer the question generally.
Okay.
I don't know what the laws are at all in the UK, but in the 50 states here, there would be something called child find, which basically means, if your child is not eligible for special education and related services, but they should be. Sorry, hold on. Sorry. No problem.
We know you're a busy lady.
Well, only when I'm on the air. So they have a duty to search out and identify and assess kids in their catchment area that potentially need special education and related services. And so CDE stands for California Department of Education. But anyway, the point is, if the district knows that this kid is suspected of having some kind of a disability based on his bedtime behaviors, the threshold for the assessment is low and they need to do an assessment. If they don't, and they're in the United States, and that student continues not to be identified, if somewhere down the line that student gets identified, they're going to have the problem of having had a basis of knowledge and not having investigated properly.
There you go. There you go. And I think we all need to be pushing back when people use the excuse of COVID. There's all kinds of times when school districts have said to me, well, we can't do this because, and it's something that has to do with them. And my pat response for them is, oh, right. I'll ask him not to have autism during COVID, or I'll ask him not to have autism during the AIDS lunch break. Do you know what I mean? Just to show them the redonkulousness of their response.
They know that it's ridiculous, but this is all they have is distance learning, and they're pretending that it's fine. I want to go back to the child find for a second, if I have another minute.
Yeah, you do.
Because again, my handy dandy special ed connection checklist on child find says these are the things that you as a district want to be doing to identify kids in your catchment area that might have autism, that might have a disability. And I think this will be interesting to you because it's not just like, oh, the teacher who works with him observes. So what the public schools are supposed to be doing, first of all, is publishing information in the local newspaper annually and on its website about the IDEA process. So that's one thing, is publishing in public papers. Number two, the district sends its child find notices to all area clinics, doctors, preschools, and daycare centers in conjunction with preschool screening activities, usually conducted with local preschools and Head Start. Okay, so that's another thing that you probably weren't aware of. The district screens all children entering kindergarten to identify children with suspected disabilities. Universal screening, people. That's what we should be doing. Typically, the early education teacher, special educator, speech language pathologist, and school psychologists implement the screening. That's, So important, and I'm not at all sure that it goes on in many districts. The district screens all transfer students to identify those students who may have been receiving special education and related services in their prior district, which would, of course, give rise to a presumption that you continue to need them in your new district. The district distributes to the parents of older students who are new to the district a handbook on the school district special services. The handbook also contains directions on who to contact if the parents suspect their child may have a disability. The district requests that parents and guardians complete a detailed questionnaire. Questions may address school history, present medical status, previous diagnoses and treatments, and home behaviors. The district considers all parent and teacher referrals, not making those people feel guilty that they're referring. And then the last one, the district student services team, the SST team, or the teacher assistant team reviews the files of all students with a health plan to screen for special disabilities. So you can see that the child find obligation is quite broad. It's actually, it's intended to work. It's the idea is to not leave anybody behind, right?
Yes.
Hey, thanks for watching Autism Live. To subscribe, click here. And if you'd like to check out some more of our videos, click here.